Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Noreen and I make watercolor tutorials, paintings, and art supply reviews. This is part 3 of my color mixing series. Links to parts 1 and 2 are in the description, along with links to all the materials. Today I'm going to show you how to create some other useful types of charts that will help you get to know your paints and learn how to use them more effectively. Okay, so the first chart I'm going to go over is the dual chart. Unlike the mixing chart where you had two versions of the mix, you would see one that had more phthalo blue and one that had more Hansa yellow light. This chart is going to show you a range between the two. So we'll start out by painting the base colors in their strongest form without any other color mixed. And now we're going to go from this color to this color by mixing a little bit at a time. So and then a little more yellow. I'll show you again with another color combination. Let's do ultramarine blue, now you can draw the boxes or just do it like this. Ultramarine blue and quinacridone rose. And just like before, we're going to mix a little bit of the quinacridone rose in with the ultramarine blue, a little bit at a time as we make the steps up. I'll show you again with another color. We'll do Pyrrole Scarlet, which is a warm red. And Hansa yellow light. And this will really help you learn how to mix properly between two colors, how much paint to use to get a color. So that is the dual chart. Next, I'll show you the value chart. So the value chart is similar, except instead of going from one color to another color, we're going to go from one color in its most concentrated form to its lightest form with water. So we'll start with ultramarine blue, as concentrated as we can get it. And then I'll add some water, add a little more water, keep adding water until it's as light as you think it's going to go. So we'll do it with another color. Let's try, this is dioxazine purple from Core. It's a very deep color in its mass tone. So just like before, add some water, more water, you can get an idea of all the values that you can get out of a color. Let's try another one. Quinacridone Rose. Now these three look pretty similar, so it looks like I added too much water too soon. So this is a good exercise to learn water control. So I'll show you another one. This is Nickel Azo Yellow from Core. So you can really see what a wide range of values you can get. Now another exercise that you can do is to go from the lightest to the darkest, which for me is actually a little harder because the other way you're just adding water, but this way you're adding pigment, and it's a little difficult sometimes to know how strong your pigment is until you test it. So it's always good to have like a little scrap piece of paper on the side So that came pretty close. But this will really help. The more you do this, the more practice you get with your values, the better you'll get at choosing the correct values when you're doing a painting. The next chart I'm going to show you is the glazing chart. So this is very similar to the mixing chart, except you're not mixing the colors, you're going to be glazing. And glazing is when you have a color underneath that has dried and you go over it with another layer, either of the same color to get a deeper tone or a different color to get this kind of stained glass effect. So to make the glazing chart, just like the mixing chart, you would label your colors along the top and along the side in the same order. So first we're going to do just 3 colors to demonstrate. So we'll do Hansa Yellow Light, Quinacridone Rose, and Ultramarine Blue. And in the same order down the side. So the first step is to paint your colors going across. So Hansa Yellow Light, then Quinacridone Rose, and Ultramarine Blue. So then you'll let this dry and we'll do the same thing, except we'll do it going down. Okay, so now that this is dried, we're going to go over with the same colors going down. So first is Hansa Yellow Light. Then Quinacridone Rose. And then Ultramarine Blue. So you'll see that the colors that you get are a little different than what you get on the mixing chart. And on this chart you get to see what the color would look like with the Hansa Yellow Light, for instance, under the Quinacridone Rose, and the other way around. So you get to see the Quinacridone Rose under the Hansa Yellow Light. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to make and use a value finder or value checker or a shade finder. This is a more advanced usable version of the little cutout that I showed you in my last video. So what I've done here is I just made a gradient with Payne's Gray on a scrap piece of watercolor paper. You can use any black or really any color because this is about value, but black or a color similar to black like Payne's Gray is going to suit you better. So I'll show you how to make the gradient and then I'll show you how to use this. Okay, so to make the gradient, start out with very concentrated color at the top. This is, just another scrap piece of paper. and then add water and pull it down. Keep adding water just like we did with the value chart as you pull it down. And it will slowly start to lighten as you go. It looks like I've got some of that yellow still on there, but we'll let this dry, and then you would cut a hole, or you can use a hole punch to cut holes along the gradient, and then I'll show you how to use this. Okay, so let's say you wanted to make something like this. You've got all these different shades of green. This is just a page in a magazine that I have, but you could use this to line up where that value should be. So for instance, this lighter green, you can see that it doesn't quite match up here. It's right about here in terms of value. And then this darker green is more down here. The lightest green here is probably around here. So then what you would do is, on your value chart, you could find a similar color and use that mixture, and you would test it on a scrap piece of paper. So just like with our mixing chart, you could test it to see how close. So that's about, can't really tell, but it's about there. And then back on the magazine, you can match it that way. So even though you have the color right, the value is the other aspect that you want to look for. And the value checker will really help with that. I hope this was helpful for you. If you found it helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you check out parts 1 and 2 and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks. Bye.